Hello everyone, this is umonox, and in my today's umoTalk, it's about a topic that we are all confronted with from time to time, and it's when it comes to acquiring new gear. So we often have to ask ourselves, should we sell something that we already have to get the money for the new equipment, or should we rather save our money and wait a couple of months until we have that money? Now, in the light of current events, I have to ask myself the same question. Now, just yesterday, I've uploaded a video about this new box here, this Akai MPC, and I showed you a couple of things on this thing. And the thing is, I have not actually paid this one yet. So I've bought it on invoice, which means that I have to sell something to get the money I need for this thing. And for me, it's the question, should I sell the rhythm or should I sell the octatrack? Now, and I think a lot of you have asked this question to yourself already if new gear comes out and you are very interested in this gear and everything. And I just want to tell about this from my own experience over the last couple of years. I've already bought a lot of gear and sold it again, so I'm definitely a guy who is selling stuff to get new stuff because I simply cannot wait. It's the reason I'm very, very, very stoked by the new stuff that comes out, and I want to try it out and everything. And I think that a lot of you might have this problem too, and it's always a question about what should I keep and what should I sell. And I have one advice at that point. You should ask yourself one single question, and this is, are you really satisfied with the stuff you have? Have you made a lot of tracks with them? Did you create great sounds and everything and whatnot? And this is something to really think about, because if you have something and you are really, really, really into it and you know it very well, it's already something that you should probably not sell. And the reason is you are into it and you know your hardware, you know your device. And just because you have seen that a new device which is coming out has tons of great features and everything and whatnot, there is still no guarantee that this machine, this particular machine, will suit your very own workflow. So probably the best thing is to try those things out in the first place. But I know that not everyone lives close to a music retailer or something. And I don't live close to a music retailer too. So if you have the option, if you find a shop that sells you something on invoice so that you can try it out in the first place, I would highly recommend doing it that way. Now, I've done it that way too. But what if you don't have this option? Well, in that case, the only thing you could do is you could travel to your music dealer, which is, I don't know, 200 or 300 kilometers away or something. And this is a little bit of a risk, because you come to your music dealer and you notice, okay, this hasn't worked out. And it's obvious that it's quite often not possible to see if the stuff works for you if you are not testing it in your very own environment. But here comes the other problem. So you decided you want new gear and everything, and you sold something that you are pretty used to, and you get the new gear, and now the moment this gear arrives at home and you've tried it out for a couple of days, you notice, okay, the workflow doesn't work for me. But now you have the problem that the gear you have sold, for example, this analog rhythm right here, that the gear you have sold is now gone, and you need to buy it again. And as it is in most cases, when you sell something, you don't get the money that you've paid for it in the first place. That's obvious. So yeah, it's a little bit of a problem in that situation. But on the other hand, we have the option to save for the stuff. And this is something where I must say that it would probably be the best method of them all. because you can keep your gear. You don't have to worry about anything, and you don't have to worry that you sell something which you might probably regret. But you have to wait a couple of months, and depending on how much income you have, you might even have to wait years. This really depends on how much you have. And I mean, our equipment is not cheap. This is something which is definitely true. It's not cheap. So sometimes you really have to think about twice if you want to wait for that time. But if you can wait, it's good. On the other hand, when you save for stuff, you might probably already have a lot of gear around and everything. And you should always try to consider, is this really the stuff that you need? Now, sure, you can have tons of effect pedals and everything, and quite a lot of, yeah, I don't know, synths and drum machines around and everything, but you must always ask your question, what is the device that delivers the most to you? So, in other words, the device that allows you to get the job done, you know? I mean, it's cool to have a lot of effects and stuff like that and everything, but if you are limited on space, like I am, for example, you don't have the option to have it all hooked up at the same time. And you therefore have to take your stuff out of your cupboard or wherever you have it and always reconnect everything. Now, if you have a studio space and everything, and if you have the time to do so, you could still think about, do you really need the stuff that you have in there? Because you might notice after a while that there are certain, yeah, certain effects or certain rack units or whatnot, which you really don't need anymore. And now you might ask yourself the question, should I really keep this stuff or should I sell it? I mean, I know there are people around who just simply don't want to sell anything because they say, I never know if I might need this thing again one day, you know. But it's also about the music you create. So from time to time, you actually create new music in new genres or new styles and everything. Take me, for example. I've started with a lot of minimal techno and everything. And today, however, I'm not really doing that much minimal techno anymore because I want to do little bit more melodic stuff and things. And so I thought about what can I do to achieve this. And I had a look at what comes out, and I found this MPC to probably be quite a good thing for that, due to the polyphony of the tracks and everything. And on the Octatrack, for example, it's not that easy because I have to prepare everything in advance. Now, if you've watched my recent jam, Tell a Story, link is up here. If you watch this jam, Tell a Story, all of those melodic parts which are inside are actually prepared, enabled in live up front. So the only thing I was able to do, I was able to create those loops, put them on the Octatrack and simply play them back and reorder them a little bit. But this is time consuming, you know. And sometimes you really want to be able to, yeah, do this all live and just simply do it, yeah, much more in a more real-time fashion, you know, just jamming around and getting the idea down and have it ready. And this is something where you might also come to a point. One day you decide, okay, I did enough techno or I did enough minimal techno or tech house. I want to go into a more melodic direction. And now you need something new to go into a more melodic direction. And so no matter what, if you have the money or not, it's always a good idea to think about, should I sell something or should I keep it? And yeah, this is just a simple advice, actually. I mean, it's just that I want to tell you, you are not alone with this. So I have the same problem, and others do have the same problem too. So always ask yourself, what is the machine you are most used to? And look at it and decide, should I keep it or should I not keep it? And if you are so used to the machine and if you get into it and if you just can start this thing up and get your jams down and everything and have a track ready or the fundament of a track ready in minutes instead of hours or something, when it's probably the machine that is just simply made for you. So there is no reason to actually sell it just because it might be old, like the Octatrack, for example. And on the other hand, if you have a very new device, it's totally great, like this MPC, for example, but you cannot get used to it, and you fiddle around and it's all cool and stuff, but you are not really getting into the workflow and everything. There is no reason to keep this thing just because it's new. And this is something you always have to ask yourself. Do I get into this thing? Yeah, that's basically it. So I hope you found this video useful, and I hope I could show you a little bit that you are not alone with those decisions. And yeah, I would say thanks for watching, and I see you in the next video. Bye.